Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for all of us to be here. It's been a very long, exciting day for all of you, but I'm sure it's nice. I'm seeing all of you are enjoying interacting with the fraternity. I'm really thankful to RAI for having this opportunity given to us in Calcutta. Meeting everyone physically after a very long time is so exciting. We are so bored of online sessions, so I'm really happy to be here along with very esteemed panel out here. We will go around and we will have an introduction from all of them, and then I will introduce myself, and then we will have an exciting discussion. I promise you it will not be very long. Your dinner is waiting, so we will try to keep it fast and insightful and interesting. So thank you, and let's start from Christopher. Uh, Christopher comes from a very enterprising background. He has done his graduation from University of London, and he is based in Shillong, Meghalaya. So, Christopher, why don't you introduce yourself a bit?
Uh, am I audible? Yeah. Good evening, my friends. And first of all, it's nice actually to be offline right now. I mean, all this while it's been online. And by the grace of God, I think we are all here happy. And the protection of everything that's kept us safe from all our families due to this COVID thing that's made life a mess for all of us. But I'm so happy that we're all of us here back again. I mean, I was in REI a few years back, and now I'm back here again, see a lot of familiar faces. So I'm here from Shillong, and we have a lot of setbacks, you know. You guys in the metropolitan cities, and you've got right internet connection, a lot of better transportation network, but we actually don't have any of that in Meghalaya. But we are trying to build that up, and that's why I'm here, so that I can voice it out so that people like you, who have the infrastructure, the information, the intelligence, that will actually come back and bring something back home to me so that I can actually help my people. Whereas in terms of infrastructure, communication, and trying to build a gap in the e-commerce industry or the social commerce industry, because once the lockdown happens, what do we need? I mean, everything shuts down, right? And all we need is we have to put everything into the e-commerce industry. But once you come back to a state like us, number one, not everyone is very familiar with Paytm or Google Pay, or not everyone is familiar with using their net banking, or not everyone is familiar with, trying to put up, a lot of things with their credit cards or debit cards. Many people actually don't have that. So cash on delivery is more acceptable there. But now, like you say, the challenge, the customer, the competition. The competition here is new customers entering into the e-commerce business, right? And right now, the change that we have is always constant in our lives right now. And the change that we are going through is something that is unprecedented, that we cannot even imagine. That everything is always, the most constant thing right now is change. Today, as retailers, we will try and determine ourselves to say that, okay, we've got a new business coming up tomorrow, and we've got this new plan and everything, and overnight you see that there's an Omicron that's come up. So how do we deal with it, right? So I'm here, and with all our panelists, I mean, to take back home something where I can help our people back home, and in a very small, simple, enterprising way. I know a lot of guys out there build great websites, right? Very great websites. But the thing is, when you go online, which website is going to sell more? A website that looks really good and great and jazz, or a website that is so simple that someone can just pick and choose, right? So I won't talk too much. Leave the rest to these guys, but thank you for having me here tonight.
Thank you. A very new perspective, an open perspective will come from you. And thanks for traveling from eastern part of India and over here for all of us. Now we will have Aniket. Aniket is a graduate from IIT Bombay, and he has been with Bizongo for about 6 years now. So why don't you just introduce yourself about your company?
Hi. Hello. Hey, hi everyone. Great to be here. Myself, I am from Calcutta, based out of Bombay, but love the city a lot. And it was amazing to spend the entire afternoon here at our small booth there, talking to a lot of you all. I can see familiar faces already. So it was a lovely experience, talking to all of you about our company. So I co-founded this company 6 years back in Mumbai. It's called Bizongo. We essentially provide vendor management solutions on the cloud, where we assimilate all of your existing vendors on a platform, right from cataloging to bidding to POs to invoices, PODs, everything are available on the platform itself. And apart from that, we also provide a vendor financing or working capital management solution as well, by liaising with several banks and NBFCs which we have on our platform. So a complete digital technology-based company, and over the course of the last 6 years of our existence, we have raised more than $165 million of venture capital, we have close to 200 customers on our on a list. A few of them has been displayed on the booth as well. And yes, very, very familiar territory, Calcutta, but we haven't really expanded here from a business perspective. I'm sorry. But would love to spread our wings here because we do have 3 offices in Bombay, Gurgaon, and Bangalore, and we plan to open up one in Calcutta very soon as well. So super exciting to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Great contribution made by you, Aniket. And thanks for coming from Bombay to your own town and having this setup over here. Now we will have Amit. Amit is a person from Delhi who has been here in Calcutta for the last 2.5 years, a professional retailer for the last 22 years, and is working and heading operations for Baazar, Kolkata right now. So I invite him to introduce himself and his company.
Thank you, Dhruv. I represent a fashionable company called Baazar, Kolkata. It's a 19-year young company which is constantly learning and innovating, and now again we are on a transformational journey wherein we are going on to a different plane altogether. We talk more as we go along in this panel discussion. Keeping it short because Dhruv has already indicated that dinner will be served soon, so I will not take much of a time. I will keep it very, very short. So that's my introduction. And sorry, Dhruv, I am increasing the average age of this group. I have got 24 years of experience. So my hair, you can see my hair reflecting that 24 years. So I have increased the average here. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. You look really young, as I mentioned to you. Now we have Soumyadip on my left, and he is, I guess, one of the most very few people who would have founded a company so long time back, and he has been with Ginesys for around 20 years or so. So co-founding a company that time, and he is one person that we have right now, again, like Aniket, from a retail tech background. So I will invite him to please come on the mic and please introduce himself and the company, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Soumyadip Bhattacharya, co-founder of Ginesys and currently working as Chief Product Officer of Ginesys. I know many of you know the name Ginesys in retail world now because we have been giving service nearly 2 decades in this retail industry. So I know most of you may take those services previously, or you are already using Ginesys in your retail world. So yeah, it's a long journey, and every day we are learning, and every day we keep going and keep innovating the technology and helping retailers more and more way possible. So thank you, Dhruv.
Thank you. So before we go into discussion, a quick introduction about myself. I am Dhruv Dubey. I am General Manager HR with Spencer's. So I've been an engineer. I worked in manufacturing for some time. Then I have been a banker. I worked in banking for about 10 years. And then I have also worked in IT technology startups and headed HR for those companies before I landed in retail. for the last 6 years, I'm here with Spencer's, and I would like to begin this conversation with that in all the companies that I have really worked earlier, customer used to change after the technology arrived. So in banking, suppose if I have to change the customer, then first I invented, that time when I started my career, debit card was coming, ATM was coming way back in 2002, 3, 4. And then I used to stand and we used to stand outside ATMs teaching customers how to use an ATM. But in retail, what happens is what I have learned that customer changes faster than the company. And that's why I guess all of us mentioned that we are learning, we are learning, we are learning. And we learn from our customers the most, unlike in other companies or industries where companies teach the customer what has to be changed. So beginning from the change, I would like our leaders out here. So maybe from Soumyadip, I would like to start that, how you have seen the change and what's the pace of change now?
Okay, great question. So basically, if I talk about change, change is inevitable. We all know that without change, according to the pace, the industry grows or the dynamic grows. So we have to change. So now, if I categorize the change in last 2 years in this pandemic world, so most of the innovation that happens primarily in technology are from these things. Let me name few things, right? So first of all, the mobile or automated payments, right? So nobody want to, so statistics says basically if you enable the mobile payment or automate payment process in POS, it reduces around 8 to 10 seconds of the queue time. So if you serve 6 customers, then you save 1 minute. So practically your customer will stand less than 1 minute in your queue. So that is something is very much happening right now. There are a lot of startups, lot of companies growing, the name Paytm coming up with IPOs and everything, right? Then the next part is obviously the online channel, enabling the online channels, the online fulfillment. Omni is there are a lot of players and they are doing excellent jobs. The innovation they have done in this field is phenomenal, helping you every time to grow in online space. Third one is definitely the procure to pay cycle. So the more efficient you are, the more visibility you get from your vendors, the pipelines of your stock and inventory. That's tremendously increase your supply chain efficiency. So in that field, lot of players are coming, like Bizongo, Aniket is there. These are the fields where maximum innovations happens. Fourth one, you can say that in the CRM world. So we know that we should know our customers very well, but is it you can say, if I talk about the loyalty, so everybody wants to have a loyalty system in place, but gone are the days where customer is waiting for a points earning burning solutions. Nobody cares at all right now. So you should have a proper AI-driven customer engagement platform in place so that you can target your customers quite precisely and target and bring back your customers and analyze their cohorts and everything in a very precise manner. So that is something you need that's a space where most of the AI, ML and everything, that part comes into place and innovation goes on. So these are some of the areas where changes happen in technology, and we are also bringing it up in Ginesys, and we are partnering, we are developing, we are doing that thing as well in our core product as well. Yeah, Dhruv.
Thank you, Soumyadip. I guess you mentioned 4 very critical areas. One that I find really exciting, and we have a specialist on the stage to talk about, is the supply chain innovation. So Aniket, will you like to come in and talk about some of the things that you are seeing and take us forward?
Hey, hi. So Really thankful to the thoughts that Soumyadip and Dhruv just mentioned. But going ahead on that path, I think the first step to change that I personally believe is adaptability to a certain type of change. So in our story, I think from our context, one thing I can definitely say is that the 3 C's of retail could be added with a 4th C, and that 4th C is probably that of COVID. So very recently, I think just 1.5 years back, we were still a very much a complete packaging player. So we used to provide packaging solutions, designing solutions, etc. to our enterprise clients. And with time, we realized that suddenly when COVID hit, our gross revenue had dropped by approximately 90%. So it was a very, very terrific, we were terrified rather. So we were completely terrified and didn't know what to do. But at the very next moment, what we did was we talked to our digital suppliers. We told them that, hey, you have a very handsome machinery, which is something that can be used to the maximum extent. And we urged them to make PP products. So the packaging suppliers converted to PP manufacturers within a matter of 2-3 weeks. And that was startling for me to see, because what I understood was that if given the right push, and if given the right, people that who are pushing those suppliers, they can also be susceptible and willing to change. So because of that, in essence, what happened is these may be an existing client of ours. They started moving from packaging products to PP products, because that was the need of the hour in March or April of 2020. And the entire paradigm changed. So that was very, very moving for us to see. I think under the COVID circumstances, we could get our revenue back at least till a certain extent. Being a venture capital funded company, I think that is very, very crucial. So we had gotten it back to a certain extent, but then the reason we could do it was because of our adaptability to the change that was happening around us. So I foresee that even going ahead, as I was reading an article just today morning where the Harvard Business Review guys have put up saying that there are 4 ways in which the economy can show a sign of recovery. From a V-shaped recovery to a U-shaped recovery, a W-shaped recovery, and a L-shaped recovery. So they actually predict that the economy is actually going to see a downturn for quite some time, and it's going to be a L-shaped recovery that is going to be seen, especially in the retail world. So from that thought, I actually could garner that there are various different changes that are coming in play. So one very interesting thing I read was about BOPIS, which is buy online and pick up in store. So, that has become a mantra actually in the UK and the United States now, where people are buying online, but then picking up in store just to get a feel of the retail world. But the purchase is happening online. So even nowadays, a lot of the clients that we speak to, they're talking about the omni-channel presence in a very major way. I'm actually going to let Mr. Amit talk about that, the omni-channel presence and how it's important. But, I think what's really crucial is the adaptability to the change that we're seeing around us.
Thank you. Why don't you? Yeah.
Thank you, Aniket. So this BOIPS that you have mentioned, I fear that it should not become a reality for the retailers like us, brick and mortar retailers. Buy online and pick up from stores. Rather, we'll call it browse online and pick up from my stores. So that would be our mantra for this. So talking about these 3 C's, suddenly this half-fat alphabet has become a dreaded one and exciting also. So when I say exciting, that means this change has brought in opportunity for all of us. Everything has changed. Right from the arbitrage of stores, to the paychecks that we get, to the way we go to the stores and buy. So everything has changed suddenly. This was retail, the brick and mortar retail. Earlier was an ever evolving ecosystem. But suddenly this disruption, led by this alphabet C, which is Corona, has forced us to change very, very fast. We were trying all companies, digital companies, putting in money, lot of dollars in changing people's behavior or habits to go online, digital. But suddenly this disruption D has brought that digital change in the lives of everybody. From my mother to our elders, to everybody. So everybody has started using those mobile phones and all that. They have suddenly become the tech savvies and all that stuff. But for the retailers like us, the brick and mortar retailers, this C also forced us to rethink, think inwards. Because people wanted a safe environment to shop in, with paychecks getting reduced for the people losing jobs, money reducing in their hand, forcing them to downtrade. So they were seeking value. In a small wallet share, they were seeking maximum value, which was right for everybody. We all go and bargain. Some of our people love to bargain. They get satisfaction after they bargain. So that's how the retailing started, by bargaining. And then in that process, we make it little modern. We do bargain with the suppliers. People come and bargain from us. So all these things suddenly got changed. So we also forced to think inward, innovate. That's what we did. What we have done, the circulation in the store, we were forced to rethink about the layouts of the stores. We opened up the stores. We made the aisles wider so that people should not touch each other's shoulders. They go safely into the store and come out safely. Checkouts, the faster checkouts. On a busy Sunday, on a busy days, you must have seen people are standing in a long queues. So this disruption phase forced us to change that also. Technology partners like him and people like him, so they gave us the solutions. Queue busters, wherein people are standing in the queues, a guy comes in and takes the stuff and bill it there, so that there should not be long queues and people should not jostle with each other. Social distancing should be maintained. So these changes have started happening for the good. That is why I said that these changes, we saw it as an opportunity. What we have not thought for in so many years has suddenly changed and suddenly forced us to change ourselves rather and come out with an innovative solutions. These technologies were around for quite some time, but those were in infancy, right? You must be pushing it, you must be going and pitching in for these technologies. But retailers were happy. No, that's fine. We want people to queue. That's where they shop. That's where they like. They like jostling with each other. But suddenly, digitization has become fashionable. So it forced us to go digital. The physical paper that we used to hand over to the customers as a bill or as an invoice has undergone a change. Nobody wanted to touch that bill given by somebody. Somebody as in the cashier. So it forced us to rethink. It gone digital. So the moment you checked out, it comes onto your mobile phone, amount this much, and that's fine. So a lot of changes has happened. And these changes, I will say it happened for good. So that's what our definition of change. So maybe the gentleman there,
Yeah.
with your permission, I'll hand over the mic to you.
Thank you. Has a lot of stuff that you gave in my head, and a lot of things I can take back home. You know, you guys are veterans and pioneers, and a lot of things that you do. But all I've ever understood was change is always the most constant thing in life is change, right? And now, what we need to do is, we have to battle between offline, online, you know. I mean, I'm sure here there are a lot of parents around where they have to deal with children with online school, offline school, COVID, and all that. And the same thing that goes with retailing, right? Now, as retailers, I think the most important thing that we should put in the first part of our mantra is humanity. You know, if you look at most of the stores and all the time, when have you ever seen anyone maintain an actual social distancing? Yeah, when they're billing on the line. I mean, have any one of you actually seen like a 6 meter or 2 meter distance being maintained that this is social distancing? I don't think so. Be it any big store, be it any small store, be it even smaller stores, no one. I think we should start there. That is the biggest challenge that we have as retailers and the biggest challenge as leaders of the retailing industry. That we first need to protect our people as good Indian citizens. That no, khali hamara paisa nahi kamaega, bhai dur raho. I want you to stay farther because I want you to keep my employees safe, which is number one. The first challenge that we face is how will I protect first my home? And that my home is my employees. Because my employees come back home to give me the mullah, right? At the end of the day, it might be digital, it might be in any form of accounting. But I have to protect my people. When I have the heart to protect my people, I have to protect the people that are over there. Now, how many of our stores actually have taken this challenge? I think the challenge and the change and the competition and how we deal with our customers is, first of all, how are we protecting our employees from our customers that, yes, are very equally and very important to us? And what is that change and what is that step that we've taken? What is that measure that we've actually taken to protect our people? We all come and say, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do, this I'm going to expand my business and everything else." But beyond that all, where is humanity? With this COVID thing that is happening over here, I mean, with all due respect, I'm sorry, it has mostly taken the lives of our family, our friends, our neighbors. But just retailing and business is not everything in life, Let us come up with a solution, which is the greatest challenge, is how to keep our employees, number one, safe, our customers absolutely safe from everything that is happening over here. And that is our competition. The competition does not lie within where my e-commerce is who is selling more or how much I am going to sell more. I'm sure everyone over here has more and enough money to build any e-commerce store at any point of time. Give a free home delivery, can do, no problem. That is our competition. The change is letting our customers understand that the change that we are making here today is you are first. Your family is more important. Not the fact that we're here just to build profits. Yes, we all here make profits, yes. Before 2019, make as much profit as you can. But now, as leaders of the industry, it is not about profiting from every penny or paisa that we make. It is profiting of how we can build every family's life. How our employees are safe. This is not the end of the pandemic, with all this Omicron, and it might be political, it might be an actual scenario that is actually happening, but a lot of lives are lost in our country, Do we have enough proper healthcare? No. But as retailing leaders of this industry, the challenge, the customer, the competition is who serves our customers with proper hygiene, protect them from that, because when someone gets sick, they have to go to the hospital and the bills are huge just because they want to go to the market, So, I'm with all due respect, but I think in life, the change, the challenge, the customer, the competition, with people like us who have the power and the capability to do it, we should actually find ways to help people.
So I guess all of us should give him a round of applause for really bringing it a very important point for the entire conversation. Because, I am a HR professional myself, and we have, as a Spencer's, as we were essential services throughout the last 1.5, 2 years now. And we have convinced employees. In fact, There are hundreds of stories, not only in Spencer's, but across the retailers, especially food retailers, where employees have sacrificed their lives. They have fought their families to come out of their homes and to serve the customers. So thanks a lot for really bringing up this point on the human side of retail. And I believe retail is again an industry which is kind of torn between tech on one side, that we have been talking since morning about various kind of tech advances that we would do, and still at the heart of it, it remains a human interaction. As my friend Amit said, people bargain, people want to interact, people really. In fact, I will tell you a story that I was interviewing somebody very senior who has spent about 25 years in marketing and in retail. And it began and began, and I asked him a final question that, okay, why people want to shop? What is shopping? So he said ultimately, in fact, she was a she said shopping is entertainment at the end of it. If we are buying online, offline, wherever, it is still, I believe, the highest, or it is the entertainment for people to buy. And bargaining, as he said, and then he said the human side of it. So let us bring in that aspect over here that, okay, how is consumer changing? Consumer wants to be treated more like a human or more like a tech or a robot. What does the customer like? What's your understanding? How does customer wants to be treated eventually? Very smart through AI or as a human?
So there are two sides of it. First of all, if you talk about the customer side, definitely they should feel comfortable. They should feel safe when they visit any stores, right? So whenever they interact with the salesperson, or they touch the product or they touch any surface, so obviously they should feel safe. That is the one part of it. That is fine. But what about the retailers part? So first of all, retailers should create that ambience, create that environment, hygiene place, so that customers can feel comfortable. That is fine. That is also fine. Now, where tech comes to analyze the buying pattern of the customers or the customer behaviors. So whether that customer who are buying 3 years back or 2 years back, whether they visit the store and not buying anything from the store, have you got those exposures, or have you got those data or not? If you got, then there is a challenge. Then you have to understand that why they are not buying, whether it is due to not having the proper assortment in the stores, or they are not liking the environment because it's so much clumsy, so much people's in the floor. That's why they don't feel safe, right? So you need to analyze. So what tech will enable you to analyze the things more properly, more precisely. So that's where tech comes. But definitely, at the end of the day, we should think about the customers because we are all here to serve our customers.
Amit, I remember that there was a truck also made by Baazar, Kolkata, where you were reaching out to customer in the physical format. Well, how was that experience for you? And do you think there's any future on that, or among the omni channels that we're talking about, going to the customer's door with your shop, is that a sustainable model?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and very good initiative by our marketing team also. Like you mentioned that buying or shopping is a celebration. Celebration as in celebrating, the soul is celebrating that shopping experience. So during that pandemic time when people were forced to be indoor, first pandemic, to be honest, I also enjoyed those 2 months. But after that, it became really getting onto my head. It was not a commercial decision to have a truck going there. It is about serving our people who love Bazaar Kolkata. They wanted that interaction. They wanted that celebration to happen. And we tried our bit by going to their doorstep and offering them the same experience which they would have gone or experienced in a brick and mortar store otherwise. So it was, as I mentioned earlier, it was not a commercial decision for us. It was a customer-centric approach that we should go and make things available to them. And it is not that the only fashion was selling that time. It was the basics, the core merchandise, the basics, the shorts, the leggings. All these things were, in great demand, and people really wanted that. And they were afraid of going out and shopping in that environment. Like the warriors in FMCG stores, they were there, if not 24/7, but yes, for a decent time, they were serving people their FMCG needs. But that was our bit for our customers to go there and serve them. So it was, again, a beautiful and enriching experience for our team, including myself.
Thank you. So here I would like to bring in the element of competition. Because here, recently we have seen this IPO of Nykaa, which is really, really popular, a very good example for us. And, I keep on meeting very senior retailers and other industrialists and pioneers who say that we have been running this shop for 25 years, 30 years. We have such a large network of partners, vendors, shop, customers. We are not able to create value. But there is a strategic shift that is happening in the way the customers are moving. And that's why companies like Nykaa and so many other things like Licious and all are able to take away, sitting in some part of the world, customers who are there with us. So Aniket, how do you think that technology is playing the part in the valuation and the competition which is coming up new?
Thanks, Dhruv. So, Dhruv, from that perspective, really, very recently, when Nykaa went public, realized that, it's probably one of the few startups out there which is profitable at its core. Even though it trades at an insane P/E, but at least is one of the startups which is profitable at the core itself. So that in itself is a big, big factor. So I think, how startups are actually, and I think with the presence of technology, how they're causing an impact is by probably organizing value chains which in essence were meant to be disrupted. So you took an example of Licious, right? So in Licious's case, I know the founder there, Mr. Abhay, pretty well, and Abhay and Vivek. So there what they have done is they've taken an existing supply chain like that of a meat producer or and a consumer, and that supply chain is meant to be disrupted because the prices go haywire, the quality is not very great, and now they have come up with a set of products which are ready to cook, and they can provide that to your doorstep at the best possible prices. Then the consumer is super happy, and investors and the public markets etc. are valuing these startups to the maximum extent because they can scale very fast with limited amount of capital being needed to deploy. Mr. Soumyadip understands this better than anyone because being in the tech field. But with the presence of say X amount of capital, they can scale 200%, 300% year on year, which is something that the tech field is used to doing. But I think the best part, Dhruv, is the fact that organizations like Baazar Kolkata, which are very, very great at what they do from a retail perspective, can marry the tech that exists in the market with organizations like ourselves or say Ginesys, etc., and work hand in hand to deliver the technology impact in the traditional retail environment. That can cause like a multitude of value or to be created, which I'm like a sole believer in personally.
Great. So, Christopher, will you actually expand on the concept that we all say we can marry our existing business with technology? But what are the challenges of it? Because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, promoters. Everybody wants to say, okay, technology can be bought, they are partners, we will partner. But 1 out of 100 maybe companies eventually will be able to do this. Why?
Dhruv, very good question, but I think we should look things in the positive side of it. Like I believe in something that is called Maya. Maya, Maya has a lot of meaning in Hindi as well, right? I mean, bring it on, But Maya to me means most advanced yet acceptable. That is the technology in this world that we have to accept today. Most retailers will have to find something which is called Maya. Back to basics. Most advanced yet acceptable. The technology is so advanced today, but yet it has to be acceptable by everyone today. Look at Geo, WhatsApp was out a way long time Then WhatsApp moved into WhatsApp Business, right? Then Geo capitalized the market into the communications industry. And the next thing they did was they came up with phones which are 1,500 rupees, and they had WhatsApp on it, you know. And why? You can sell anything on WhatsApp, right? Even today, how do people survive? Spotify, WhatsApp, Splunk, I mean, a lot of sites online allow you to sell your products, right? But now, if you need it, you want it, you'll get it. And I think 80% of the buyers online, I mean, after the pandemic, 150 billion people online, 2.3 billion existing online customers today. You know, all of that, I'll tell you a little smaller secret. There's a survey that's been conducted. 45% of that are the kids that are buying and doing all the buying for the parents. You know? And they're like, "Bachchu, idhar aao. Kaisa ye kharidna hai?" "Oh, okay, credit card, lagao." And the next morning, "Oh, my extra game also got charged on that." You know, the kids are smarter these days than the parents. But online shopping definitely is on the line. The most advanced yet acceptable. That's what's happening right now all over the world. You know, you might have a really fancy website online, but if a layman, with all due respect to the gentleman or a woman, if they cannot figure the buy button on it, your site is not going to go hot online. But if you create a website that is as simple as it is to click and buy, with the most integrated technology, then it would help. And at the same time, you know, when we have the 3 C's, we always forget that the background, the backfold of our companies, our retailing companies, are our employees. You know, just because we have an e-commercing site or a social commerce site, doesn't mean that we're going to have to chuck our employees away. No, we train them, you know. We train them to work from home. We train them to be our successors. That is our competition again, because they are also our customers. Our employees are yet the most important thing as our customers. The most valued, whatever you take, feedback is basically from our employees, because they are our customers. They wear our clothes. They eat the food or the groceries that we sell. And if we create them into another form of architecture where they learn the fundamentals of the business, and they go online, and then they are the ones that actually become the chatbots for your online business. So that is where technology can take us. Maya, most advanced yet acceptable.
So that's a very good area to be in, the most advanced yet acceptable. So my question is to the panelists out here, that what is acceptable now? Till about a month back, a delivery within half an hour was something beyond. In Calcutta, Swiggy Insta came in and they said they will deliver at your doorstep within 30 minutes. And because we are really competing, and I have my customers telling me, and we are trying to compete with them, that we have an online channel. We were saying, okay, we will do slot system. We were doing this meeting that we will have a operations process designed in a manner that we will serve customer in slots. Somebody gives an offer at 10 o'clock, we will deliver by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock in those slots. And my head of operations stood up and said, Dhruv, you are in some previous world. Today was there this thing, the slot system has gone out. Now we want to have a system that customer orders whatever time, from there half an hour it has to be delivered. And then after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, Grofers came up and they said we will deliver within 10 minutes. So now, look at the way the customer has changed, the consumer has changed, the competition has changed. And can you tell us that, where is it heading right now? What will happen? Are drones a reality? Will they come in and drop us at the predestined times, that they will get to know when we want, what we want, and then we'll go out on the balcony and something will be delivered to us there? Where are we heading?
where are we heading is very, very tricky, you know. Nobody knows where we are heading. Frankly speaking, to be very honest, it's so speed. So we are running on a F1 Formula One car, right? So technology is moving so fast. The market dynamics changes so fast. Grabbing that, and above all, the government rules, the GSTs and taxations, everything, the statutory part changes so fast. So coping all those things and making your business sustainable, profitable, is really a challenge. Definitely a challenge. But one thing I must say that throughout all the panels, everyone is talking about online, fine. But frankly speaking, for most of the retailers, online is not the only solution. You need to think differently.
Very true.
Right. So in those pandemic times, we came on various inquiries from a lot of our customers that we want to go online. How many actually succeed? How many actually launch their websites? How many actually just sell on any marketplace? Really speaking, to be very honest, you should work differently. Not always, don't seek answers only on the online stores. Think differently. Think there are a lot of ways you can improve your operations, improve your bottom line or top lines. So we need to think in a different way.
So I beg to differ, if you don't mind, with all due respect.
No.
You know, it's just a discussion. Please don't take it personally. In this world today, I think in a lot of states we have more than 70% of educated people in our country with the current government that is coming in here, aiming to have at least 85 to 82% of educated people in our country. And if we have that much of education, why cannot we implore people, right, to actually feel and build a better way of experiencing? You know, with all due respect, again, whatever you sell with augmented reality, AR and AI, 3D modeling, you can actually do that. And because, you know, the fact is, if you go to any grocery store, you go to any market, that's where all the infections of COVID, you know, I close all my shops and everything because I don't want people to get hurt. Because I think it's more important that we save lives more than going offline. I beg to differ again, I'm so sorry. I would like that if people want to bring this change should be an anomaly, an omni-channel, like we all say, right? And this change that we're going to take over from here on forward is a generating change that advances us, not to take us, decelerate where we are going from. Let us teach our children, and guess what? It creates less traffic also, especially in West Bengal. I think you all would agree to that. Less traffic in West Bengal and people are actually staying home and shopping at home. Otherwise, every Saturday, South City Mall, bharti ho jayega.
Good. So I guess our time is up. I will give a mic to Aniket once to say where are we heading, and then to our senior most person on the stage to say the last words, where are we heading?
Yeah, so thanks, Dhruv. I think very recently, I think came across this organization called Zepto as well. I think they do also 10-minute deliveries, and was remarkable to see the way in which they're building something called micro warehouses. I think I read about the model. It's very, very interesting. So I think, one thing I still remember, there was a friend of mine I was talking to, and in the traditional retail environment, he works on a startup where he's working on product placement. Does a lot of analytics and specifically works only for product placement in retail stores. So for example, in a supermarket like Spencer Retail, where exactly is, the FMCG product going to be placed versus the, the cosmetic products versus, hello? Yeah, versus the, the liquor, for example, where exactly should it be placed for the customer to gain maximum access, and how does that drive top line and bottom line both? So I think technology should not be miscommunicated or misused per se. Tech doesn't have to mean AI or deep tech or very very fancy lingos for that particular perspective, but actually could mean very simple use cases of analytics which can drive traditional retail to greater heights. And I also agree completely with Soumyadip that retail doesn't have to always mean that I have to go online. Retail can still be traditional. Baazar Kolkata can very much be a traditional retail channel and still drive tons of sales. But if they use the traditional methods of analytics, etc., the best of their ability, they can only find, more, bottom line and top line roping up. So that is what I personally feel.
Thank you. I guess everybody can agree that people will coexist, various channels. Over to Amit for his words. Where are we heading as he sees it?
Okay, so there are exciting times ahead for everybody, not only for retailers, even tech companies. Tech is a great enabler for everybody. We are brick and mortar retailer from outside, but a tech company inside. Because data is new money. As some people say, data is petrol. So data is a new money. Everything will get analyzed. Data mining is again gonna stay here. Artificial intelligence will take on from here. So it is not a constraining. Technologies always give you heads up, which takes you or accelerate your business. That's what we are hopeful of. And again, the time's up, dinner is being served, that's what is flashing.
Thank
So
you.
I have
Thanks a lot
cut
to
down.
all the panelists and to RAI and to all of you for listening. Is there any question that you want to ask anybody, or we close it? Thank you then. Thanks a lot for your time. Okay. All the very best.
Thank you so much
Thank
to
you,
all
namaste.
the panelists for this amazing session. I would request our moderator, Mr. Dhruv Dubey, to kindly felicitate our panelists. Firstly, Mr. Amit Marya, Head Operations, Baazar Kolkata. Can we hear a round of applause? Next, Mr. Aniket Dev, co-founder Bizongo. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Next, Mr. Christopher Rani, founder and CEO, Sia Projects. Next, Mr. Sandeep Jalan, CEO, he's not here, okay. Mr. Soumyadip Bhattacharya, Chief Product Officer, Ginesys. I would like to thank all the panelists. Now I would like to request Mr. Lawrence Fernandez, Director, Retail Learning, RAI, to kindly come on the stage and hand over the memento to Mr. Dhruv Dubey, General Manager, HR, Spencer's Retail Limited. A huge round of applause.